Welcome. I'm going to have some timestamps down below. I don't want to feel like I have to rush through this before we get to the meat and potatoes of the video, which is the gameplay. This is very important. This game, The Bus, is in early access, and we're also playing on an update that's in beta stage. That's like a double early access, right? And one thing that I'm noticing right away, now that you've seen my face and I've greeted you all, we don't need to see me now. I need to preserve as much CPU as possible. We're going to go to the NVIDIA control panel. If you're on AMD, well then I guess you'll select AMD. We're going to go to program settings. We want to lock the game at 30 FPS. For some reason, mine came off of that list. I don't know why that is. It happens. That's life. Get over it. I'm going to see if I can find it from within the list here. Otherwise, if you don't see it, don't panic. Yeah, I don't see it here. No, so what we're going to do is we're going to browse. Well, there's the Fern bus. We're going to go to our Steam, right? Wherever you installed Steam. Steam apps, common. And this is where all your games are. Now we're going to look at the bus right here. We're going to click on the bus. We're going to click on binaries, Win64, the bus. And now that we have that in there, we are going to go and we're going to set the maximum frame rate. Not background application, but just the max frame rate right here. We're going to toggle that on. My computer can handle it at 60, but it dips a lot down into the 40s and 50s. This game is very, very playable at 30. I enjoy this game more at 30 FPS. With all due respect, I believe, than Bus Simulator 18 at a full 60 FPS. Going to go ahead and close that. As I've mentioned, the bus is now on update 1.4 beta, but I find the game is more stable in terms of performance than 1.3. And if we go to the store page, they are this developer here, TML Studios, and they're published by Aerosoft. TML Studios have some other wonderful games in their library. I just purchased Fern Bus as well yesterday. If I had the money, I would get Tourist Bus and everything else, but I'm not that rich yet on YouTube. And they've been around for quite some time. 2015, 2014, so they've been around for a little bit. And so far, I am just amazed. There's that Bus Simulator 18. Let's get right into this here. The bus. So far, for whatever reason, it got unhooked from my profile. There is no way to do a half VSync. A lot of people sometimes are hung up with 60 FPS. And listen, I get it. 60 FPS is butter smooth. However, I promise you this game at 30 is very, very playable. I'm just going to go through the main menu very quickly. Like I said, I don't want to feel like I have to rush through everything. I want to make this thorough. So this is what we're shown here on our main screen. Again, if you've played Fern Bus or anything else from TML Studios, this will look very familiar to you. I've only been in their presence for like not even 24 hours, and I already know this. And it's great. Let's go right into the options. Game, language, European. It keeps bringing me back to Europe. I'm Canadian. We'll put it in American. Doesn't really matter. Show refueling areas. You can have all these things not shown if you don't want them. Steering camera. Do you want it so that when you turn the steering wheel, it kind of magically turns you to that side so that it looks more natural? So if you turn the wheel to the right, it'll kind of turn the camera a bit to the right as to where you'd be looking. Everything centers back on its own by default. Auto center the steering wheel. You can hide the steering wheel if you want. Force feedback. I had originally turned it down because it was too much compared to Fern Bus at 50 for road effect. Let's try it on 1.4 to see if that got fixed. AI in Fern Bus. Yes, I keep going back to Fern Bus because that was sort of like their first big game, maybe. Traffic density is there. But this is new. Pedestrian density. I don't think you have that in Fernbus. Audio, I turned off. The radio, I don't want to get a monetization strike or whatever. Controls, yes, it says there's an error. I could promise you there isn't. When you click on the assistant, it'll be like, hey, push your button for what you want your left blinker to be, your right blinker. How do you turn on your truck or your bus, rather? What do you want your retarder to be? But obviously, you can just go down. This is general when you're walking around. This is just generally when you're literally on foot, if you will. So general is your person. Scania citywide is the bus. So obviously, if you want your interact to be something different, your indicators to be something different, you can just go ahead and click on it. You can add a key. You can have multiple different buttons do the same thing. Pretty straightforward there. Yeah, sorry, I've already done that. Controls, audio, graphics. This is important. So VSync and full screen. On 1.3, this keeps wanting to go back to full screen borderless. And if you click on full screen and you click accept, it freezes and it crashes. So what you do is you set your settings if you're on 1.3 and you simply just go back. So whatever you do here, you don't have to click accept on 1.3. On 1.4, it just seems to work. Okay? Field of view, I have it at 100. The higher, you start off on 70. The higher the number, the further back you're going to be from the steering wheel. So you can see a little bit more inside the cockpit of your bus. That you need to do at your own, settings that you prefer. On 1.3, I could only play this game on medium, nothing high. But on 1.4, for some reason, I'm able to crank everything up to high. On Fernbus, I'm able to have things on epic locked at 30. In this game, I have everything on high locked at 30. However, I will go as far as to say that this game on high looks better than Fernbus on epic. It's a newer game. That makes sense, doesn't it? It's almost half a decade ahead in development. Material, just like in Fernbus, is interesting. You've got low, medium, epic. There is no high. Everything else has a low, medium, high, and epic. Is that a glitch? Is that intended? I don't know. It's just a thing. Now we're going to go to the game. No, I've already done that. I'm sorry. This is why I don't make these videos. I'm all over the place. Now, this is supposed to be a one-to-one of Berlin, Germany. I don't know if there's going to be other maps, but what I really appreciate about these guys, I believe they're German. I hope I didn't get that wrong. It seems like everything's, overseas. I'm in Canada. And I like that because I play American Truck Simulator and I love playing Euro Truck Simulator because the world feels different. It looks different. Everything's different. You feel like you're in a different world. When you're in North America and you're in Canada driving around and then you go down to the States, apart from, seeing palm trees, which might be a little off-putting if you're from Canada, roads and lights and all that kind of stuff, and even the way bridges are designed, just the layout of the world, it's the same shit. But when you go to a different part of the world, you have a new appreciation for how different countries, different continents do things differently. And I really, really like that. We've got an editor. We're not going to get into that. None of this stuff works yet, I don't think, because right now we only got free play. Your map, you can only choose Berlin. Whether or not they're going to add more, I can't speculate. I don't know. 12 meter, 18 meter, those are the two buses you can play with. We're going to do the longer one. Realistic versus customized and arcade. Arcade just means that everything's going to be done on its own. Automatic gear switching, the lights, the wipers, the doors. It's the brain dead mode. It does not affect the feel of the game, like in terms of physics and all that. I'm going to leave mine on realistic. Weather, dynamic, clear precipitation, storm, fog precipitation. We're just going to leave it on dynamic. We're going to choose our route or route. You've got two sets of routes. I think that's what this means. I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm talking about here. We're going to pick one. We're going to pick this one. Our start time around 8 a.m. I believe they use military time. So if it was nighttime, yeah, just take my word for it. I don't want to take all day here. Mid-October, I like fall. Let's finally get into it. 15 minutes later. But I felt it was really important to show this. That's why there's the timestamps, because if you don't care about any of this stuff and you just want to see the bus 1.4 gameplay, okay? Now, I can run this game at 60 FPS again, but it will spike a lot into the mid-40s. I figure locking it at 30 is the smartest thing to do, okay? It still feels very good. So you always start off outside the bus. You can go ahead and tackle these people if you want, steal their wallets and phones. I'm just kidding. You don't want to do that. So here's our bus. It's a very lovely bus. We're going to approach it. You can see at the bottom left it tells you the prompt. Left mouse button is your default interaction key. Here we push C, basically for character, if you will. Start ignition. So we're going to tap our button. Now it tells us to start the board computer and enter the tour number. Now this took me 15 minutes on my own to figure out. I was like, oh, what's going on? I was like, come on, nothing's working. Okay. Oh, and I was hitting the left button. This you have to set in the controls. It's very important. Left is to interact, but when you right-click on your mouse, this is what allows you to see the cursor mode. So make sure you go to controls and you look at that to make sure that it does this. Now you can zoom in and out. Now you can left-click the start. Well, your tour number's right here. So you go 6558, then you hit enter. Now we can right-click our mouse so that we're back into this mode. Now, some people will just board the bus, but if they were asking you for a ticket, they'll ask you what they wanted. Again, you would just go, do they want a single ticket, 24-hour ticket, AB, BC, or ABC? So you would click this, let's say this, one ticket, you would click bar. The ticket will pop up here. It'll magically end up teleporting into their pocket. And they're going to leave the money right here. So you're going to go ahead and grab that, and then you're going to refund them by clicking these numbers here. Okay. Now, I'm going to leave my mouse like this to show you something. When you set your thing up, you can have it so that it automatically centers you. Like that. You can look left, right. You can look outside the bus. Go back in. Perfectly centered. Start the engine. And we are on our way. We got to turn on our headlights. Turn on the air conditioning. That's always a thing. Put your foot on the brake. Gear up one. Loosen the parking brake with spacebar. We are in action. This is it. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. And it's just an absolute joy. Again, if I can zoom in and zoom out, it'll remain that way no matter what I do. But if I move my mouse a little bit to the right and I keep driving for a moment, look what'll happen. That's not me that did that. It starts to straighten out. There we go. Again, I am noticing that the road feedback is a little too strong. Then again, look at the roads. There's a lot of realism in the road. There's a lot of potholes, a lot of... See, I just hit that little sewer cover. My steering wheel moved a little bit. So maybe I'm just too sensitive. Maybe I'm too used to driving on a straight road that has no cracks in it or nothing. Whatever. It's just an observation that I've made. All the little sounds of the bus, everything... The moving around just to feel, it's heaven. I normally play American Bus Simulator, like I said, Euro Truck Simulator, you know, games like Snow Runner, a lot of sim games, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I was very snobby. I was like, the bus. Yeah, okay, the bus. That's gonna be a fun game. Who are these guys? I'm just being honest. Hopefully they're not watching this video because they'll be like, uh-huh. I just didn't know who they were, and I had a very negative, you know, reaction to that. What she said. That distracted me. So anyways, I gave it a chance, and I'm glad I did. I am beyond happy that I did. It's incredibly playable. I'm having so much fun. Oh yeah, you can turn on interior lights as well. You know, like when it's dark, you could turn on lights for your passengers. That's why that little camera popped up momentarily. Oh. Hard right. See how my head's turning a little bit as I'm turning? Now that jerked my wheel a little bit. I don't know if I hit a curb. But yeah, for an early access game, very playable. If you've been staring at the bottom left, that's my frames per second. I don't even think we've dipped once. Maybe we did once or twice. I didn't even really notice it. And on top of that, furthermore, this is beta update 1.4. I don't think I can go back to 1.3. This is how much I'm enjoying this update just based on the fact of performance. Your mileage may vary, but for me, this is the update I want to stick with. Just gonna do a quick little trip. I slammed on the brakes there. That jolted my feedback, which moved my mouse, which is why my view switched a little bit. Drive like this. Again, like I said, you can zoom in and out, move around. So that's basically the main take from this video. What I want people to take from this is the following statement. This game is here to stay. This is it. Because Bus Simulator, I'm gonna end it here, I think. Am I here now? Bus Simulator 18 is probably, with all due respect, probably the most commonly heard name. Oh, Bus Simulator. Farming Simulator. Just, right? The bus I had never heard of. The only reason I came across this, with all due respect, was because I was looking on Steam under the word bus. I'll tab out to make sure you can even see me. And then I found them, like I said, and I hadn't really heard of them. That's why I felt it was important, even though I have a small channel and I don't get a lot of views on my gameplay videos. I predominantly get a lot more views on my gaming news, my goofy Batman videos and stuff like that, and my how-to tutorial videos. But I want to start also adding more serious gameplay footage to my channel, but simulator games. I'm talking like Skater XL, The Sims, Microsoft Flight Simulator, American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, Farming Sim. This has made the lineup. Fernbus probably will as well, but I really want to closely monitor this game as it's the new shiny toy that's currently in development and it's being blossomed into something great. Everybody that's into the bus simulator genre is probably going to be familiar with Fernbus. I don't really need to talk about that game. There's a plethora of people out there that have already been doing an amazing job at that. I find the bus, there's not a lot of people out there, at least that I found, that are talking about it. Some people are, they're not sharing their specs. And I think it's important to share with the community of people that are into this kind of game. Hey, what's working for you? Oh, really? You have an i7 6700? Oh, you locked it at 30. Oh, you're finding it fair. Oh, that's great, because nowhere in the game can you lock the FPS. So that's probably my number one piece of feedback for the development team, is adding a frame lock option into the game so that we don't have to do that convoluted thing, right-clicking on the desktop. And it could be a little bit complex for some people, and not only that, this is now the second time I've had to redo it because it just wouldn't stick. So having that option inside the game, I think, is very important. Either half VSync or just fully allowing us to pick what frame we want, because this game at 30 FPS is incredibly playable. I am not complaining. At no time am I playing this game at 30 FPS going, oh, I can't wait to play Bus Sim 18 at 60 FPS again. That's on me. I'm going to need a more powerful computer. If this video goes viral, I might be able to take some of the funding from that and buy a better computer. That is my goal. But like I said, This plays as well for me as Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is on high, locked at 30 FPS, and it's great. And I really hope that people give this game a chance. And there's kind of like a no risk, really. There's a no risk thing here. Steam allows refunds. You could play this game for a couple of hours. If you just really don't feel like it's for you, you can refund it. And I just thought I would voice my thoughts. I'm not sponsored by them. They don't know me. I don't know them. I'm definitely recommending this game. Abso-frickin-lutely. And that's the end of the video. Hopefully this was semi-useful. So if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It greatly helps support the channel with the algorithm, actually, and making me more relevant in the search results when people are looking shit up on the internet. If you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll just put you in a wrist lock and I'll crack it off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be fantastic. But if not, thanks for stopping by. Take care. Maybe I'll see some of you in the next video. And if you want, let me know down below in the comment section what kind of simulator driving games have you been playing? Have you ever heard of this company before? This game, Fernbus, or any of the other games in their lineup? And yeah, all right. Until next time, bye for now.